What's new from Apple? There's the new iPhone 16 Pro, built for Apple Intelligence. And it comes with the all-new camera control, giving you an easier way to quickly access your camera tools. The new Apple Watch Series 10 has our biggest display and our thinnest design ever. And this? It's the sound of active noise cancellation, now available on one of 2 new AirPods 4 models. So quiet. Check out all of the new products and new features at apple.com. You can even buy yourself something new. See apple.com for product availability updates. Apple Intelligence coming this fall.
With Walmart's new fresh and frozen subscriptions, you can save time on your weekly grocery shopping.
Dad, you're supposed to be grocery shopping.
And miss the chance to embarrass you in front of your friends? I subscribe to snacks and wet napkins. You know how messy you are.
Dad!
Walmart. Subscribe to your weekly list.
Sergeant and Mrs. Smith, you are going to love this house.
Is that a tub in the kitchen?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
This is not how sane people act.
Hearken to thine inner voice and give thyself a bell.
I don't care, I don't care. My jokes don't go over, I don't care. Everybody, I don't care.
Well, that's because you're an idiot.
Can you, shut up?
If you just read the bio for Dr. Steve, host of Weird Medicine on Sirius XM 103 and made popular by 2 really comedy shows, Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez, you would have thought that this guy was a bit of, a clown.
Why can't you give me the respect that I'm entitled to?
I've got diphtheria crushing my esophagus. I've got Ebola virus dripping from my nose. I've got the leprosy of the heart valve, exacerbating my incredible woes. I want to take my brain out and blast it with the wave, an ultrasonic, echographic, and a pulsating shave. I want a magic pill for all my ailments, the health equivalent of Citizen Kane. And if I don't get it now in the tablet, I think I'm doomed and I'll have to go insane. I want a requiem for my disease, so I'm paging Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve!
From the world-famous Cardiff Electric Network studios in beautiful downtown Bedabbler City, it's Weird Medicine, the first and still only uncensored medical show in the history of broadcast radio, now a podcast. I'm Dr. Steve with my little pal, Dr. Scott, the traditional Chinese medicine provider. Gives me street cred with the wacko alternative medicine assholes. Hello, Dr. Scott.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
And my partner in all things, Tacie. Hello, Tacie.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good.
This is a show for people who had never listened to a medical show on the radio or the internet. If you have a question you're embarrassed to take to your regular medical provider, if you can't find an answer anywhere else, give us a call. 347-766-4323. That's 347-POOHEAD. Follow us on Twitter at Weird Medicine and at DrScottWM. Visit our website at drsteve.com for podcasts, medical news, and stuff you can buy. Most importantly, we are not your medical providers. Take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Don't act on anything you hear on this show without talking it over with your healthcare provider. All right, check out stuff.drsteve.com, stuff.drsteve.com. It'll take you to our online shopping affiliate, but also you can scroll down and you can see the Rody robotic tuner, or you can go to roadie.drsteve.com. That's roadie.drsteve.com. And check out this greatest gift for a guitar, mandolin, bass player, any stringed instrument, not orchestral instruments, but regular stringed instruments. And it can do alternate tunings and all kinds of stuff. And Brian May said, these bastards waited until the end of my career to come out with this. That's how impressed he was by it. You just put the thing on the pegs, you pluck the string, and it tunes it for you. It can also unwind and wind when you're putting new strings on. So it becomes a robotic winder as well, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, roadie.drsteve.com. Check out Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net. And check us out at patreon.com, patreon.com/weirdmedicine. I'm just putting all kinds of stuff on there. There's an eclectic group of things in our Patreon. And they get first look at any of the new projects that I do, like this Dr. Steve Prevents, Dr. Steve Presents, and videos like that go to Patreon first, then YouTube members, and then to the public. And if you want me to say fluid to your mama, check out cameo.com/weirdmedicine. It's cheap and it's fun. I would do it for free, but they won't let me, so I charge the least that you can. And I'll say basically whatever you want me to say. All right? All right, very good. Don't forget to check out Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net. That's simplyherbals.net. Everything going okay over there, Dr. Scott?
Yes, sir. Doing well, thank you.
All right, very good. And check me out on Normal World. We just did fecal transplantation. We're getting ready to do female ejaculation.
Ooh.
And that's a controversial subject. And we're going to talk about one of the normal words I did. Actually, somebody's seeing them because somebody called in with a question about one. So that's kind of cool. Check that out. Normal World on YouTube. I guess it's just youtube.com/@normalworld. All right. Very good. Tacie, do you have topics today?
I sure do.
You want to get those out of the way?
Yes.
All right.
It's Tacie's time of topics. A time for Tacie to discuss topics of the day. Not to be confused with Topic Time with Harrison Young, which is copyrighted by Harrison Young and Area 58 Public Access. And now, here's Tacie.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
I cannot be bothered to find my own stories, so my husband found these for me this morning.
Okay, blame him.
Jack Carlson, the Australian man behind the Democracy Manifest meme, who became a worldwide sensation later in life after a 1991 clip of his arrest for consuming a succulent Chinese meal went viral, has died. He was 82.
Oh, poor old feller. He wasn't that old in that video.
Carlson
that video was from, what did you say, 91?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Carlson died Wednesday surrounded by family after battling cancer. He also had many other health conditions, including systemic inflammatory response syndrome. He walked a full and colorful path, and despite the troubles thrown at him, he lived by his motto to keep on laughing. Though the original incident, which made Carlson famous and much loved, occurred in 1991, it wasn't until footage of his arrest was uploaded to internet video sites in 2009 that he gained worldwide notoriety. The surreal clip captured Carlson's booming voice, his dexterous and vivid use of language, his natural theatricality, as well as his love of succulent Chinese food, instantly making him a cult hero and immensely quotable figure.
And what was great about it was you can be 100% with him because it was a case of mistaken identity. He wasn't even the person they were looking for.
Oh, gosh.
So the original story was that he was a guy that would go to these places and then dine and dash.
Oh.
And that's who they thought he was.
Oh.
But he wasn't that guy. So, when I first read that, I'm like, okay, well,
That's not cool,
it's not as cool.
No, hell
because
no.
he's being, he's a shit.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. He was he'd been drinking a little bit, but he was just a regular patron, and they thought that he was the other guy. Go ahead, Tace.
There were 6 police officers attempting to put him inside a car. They tell him he is under arrest. I'm under what, gentlemen? This is Democracy Manifest. An indignant Carlson booms to the watching press. Things began to get testy. Have a look at the headlock here, says Carlson as the police try to manhandle him. See that chap over? Get your hand off my penis. This is the bloke who got me on the penis, people.
I don't remember him saying this is the
Although
bloke who
it
got
is
me on
difficult to see what is happening.
This is funny listening to Tacie reenact this.
Yes.
Why did you do this to me, pleads Carlson. Get in the car, says a police officer, seemingly frustrated with the situation. For what reason, replies Carlson. He adds, what is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Things began to escalate. Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir, Carlson says as the police step up their attempts to put him in the car. I see that you know your judo well.
Which was
Good one.
which was very sarcastic.
Did he say that?
Yes.
I know you're.
This guy is trying to get a headlock, and all he's got is like his hand on his chest, and he looks at him and says, "Oh yes, I see you know your judo well. I'm going to play it here in a second."
And you, sir,
So,
are you
but
waiting
it's
to
completely
receive my limp
sarcastic.
penis? How dare you, screams Carlson as
Right,
he is
so here's the
finally
thing.
overpowered. Get your hands off me.
One of the cops climbs into the car from the other side so that he can, if they get his feet up there, he can grab him and pull him in. And so they get the door open, and that guy is sitting there kneeling in the back seat of the car. And, his face is right in a position where, he could, I guess, accept his limp penis. And that's what Carlson was talking about.
Defeated, Carlson bids adieu to the crowds. Ta-ta. And farewell. In a May 2021 interview with 7 News, Carlson spoke about the incident, saying that we're supposed to be living in a democracy, and here they are dragging me out of a restaurant halfway through a succulent Chinese meal. Well, I thought, gentlemen, this is democracy manifest.
Yeah.
He added that when he saw the cameras outside the restaurant, he saw it as a chance to proclaim his innocence to the world.
Well, he sure did.
I thought, well, here's an opportunity to prove my innocence because they've dragged me out, thinking I was some sort of international gangster when I knew that I wasn't. So here's a chance for the camera, for the people of Australia, to let democracy manifest itself gloriously. And that's what I carried on like that. Of course, I had been somewhat influenced by the juice of the great grape.
Yes, of course. Good. This is, I think, is my favorite video of all time. And I've had quite a few that I really enjoyed. You know, Gangster Star Wars, which used to be on Carl's website, E-Bombs World. You know, I didn't know if you knew that, but our buddy Carl from Who Are These Podcasts was one of the, founding fathers of E-Bombs World, which was the original YouTube. Anyway, so I thought, although Tacie's reenactment was quite excellent, hearing the original may be the way to go with this. So they have the door open. The first thing he does is come out and slam the door closed. Now they're grabbing him.
You just assured me that I could speak.
Sit down inside the car. We're not assuring anything. We're under arrest.
They say, sit down, get inside the car. We're not assuring anything. And that's when he goes A.
Look, I'm under what? Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis, people. Why did you do this?
It's the bloke who got me on the penis, people.
Oh, my God.
Hop in the car. Get some cups. For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir.
Okay, so this cop just has his hand on his shoulder. He's trying to get him in a headlock, but he can't do it.
Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well. Good one. And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Now, get your hands off.
So they lift him up, and now they've got his feet.
Ta-ta and farewell.
I mean, if you're going to resist, that's the way to do it.
Yes, it is.
Be brilliant. Ta-ta and farewell. Ta-ta. So ta-ta and farewell, our friend Jack Carlson.
Yes. So. He also said he told the news he didn't realize how famous he was until someone approached him with a business idea. It took me many years for someone to show me it was up there on the internet until someone approached me and said, can we put it up and sell bottles of wine with your face? The wine, incidentally, is called Get Your Hands Off My Pinot Noir. And I said, go ahead, as long as I get a cut out of it.
Oh, have fun.
That's funny.
That is good stuff.
Well, that was, I can't make fun of that joke because I made wine called Suck My Pinot.
Oh, my goodness.
That Opie and Anthony talked about for 20 minutes and bashed me to no end. I think it was funny that Opie didn't initially get the joke.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, really? Did he not?
No. He was like, it says suck my on there. And he thought and then eventually Anthony got it. He said, oh, it's Suck My Pinot. Anyway, we can play some of that sometime. They shit on me for 20 minutes. And that was the first time I knew that I was sort of in the the group or whatever. Right. I was part of the group because they wouldn't have. It was hilarious. I was laughing the whole time. It was not one of those things where they're shitting on you and you're getting angry.
Right.
I mean, it was too funny.
So fun.
And it was cool. So anyway.
Cool.
All right, go ahead, Tace.
Article 2, Living Large, the challenges of having the world's largest penis. Jonah Falcon, a 50-year-old American, holds a unique and somewhat burdensome title, the man with the world's largest penis. While this distinction might seem enviable to some, Falcon's daily life is filled with unexpected challenges and adaptations. His anatomy is truly extraordinary. His length is 13.5 inches when fully erect. His girth is 8 inches in circumference.
Whoa. In circumference. Okay, so 8 divided by 3.1 415 would be what? So if it was 9, it'd be like 3. So yeah, 2 3/4 inches. That's about right. Yeah.
Across, yeah.
I think some of the news stories got it wrong. They said he was, 8 inches in diameter. It's like there's no way.
No.
Because that'd be 24 inches in circumference or more. Yeah, go ahead, Tacie.
These measurements have earned him recognition from the Guinness Book of World Records.
Wow.
Though he humorously notes that they don't have an official category for his particular attribute. Living with such an unusually large appendage presents numerous challenges. Clothing conundrums. He has to wear extra long shirts to avoid unwanted attention. Airport security snafus.
Oh, God. What? Can you imagine?
His size has led to awkward encounters with TSA agents who have mistaken his anatomy for a potential security threat.
Oh, my goodness.
What, they thought he had a shillelagh in his pocket?
Relationship roadblocks. Finding compatible partners can be difficult as not everyone can accommodate his size.
That was Sonny Corleone's problem in the book.
Mm-hmm.
He had such a giant penis that he could only have sex with certain people, and the women were all people that had unusually large vaginas, and they couldn't have normal sex with a regular guy. So this is Mario Puzo, some male fantasy, but the woman that he was having sex with a bunch in the book at the beginning had to eventually go to the doctor to get a surgery done to I guess tighten up her vagina. But anyway, that's interesting.
Some unexpected
I guess that would be difficult.
Oh, Lord,
experiences he has. He's been offered roles in adult films but has declined.
Well, where would they find somebody that could have sex with him?
To maintain his privacy.
Yeah.
Celebrities have reached out to him curious about his anatomy, and he's become an unexpected advocate for body positivity and acceptance. While Falcon's anatomy has brought him a certain level of notoriety, it has also impacted his personal and professional life. He's had to navigate media attention, public curiosity, and the constant challenge of being seen as more than just his physical attribute.
Yeah.
Despite these challenges, Falcon maintains a sense of humor about the situation. He's learned to embrace his uniqueness while advocating for a more open and accepting attitude toward diverse body parts.
We should calculate the volume. You just use a cylindrical calculation. What's the volume of a cylinder?
Jeez Louise.
I wonder if Echo can do that. Echo, what's the volume of a cylinder that is 8 inches? No, what is it? Shit. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Okay, she's not talking.
From Answers.com.
Okay, Echo, stop. Echo, what's the volume of a cylinder 13 inches long and 8 inches in circumference? See if she can do that.
No. I think you stumped her.
She can't do math either.
I think she's asleep.
Okay, well, anyway, go on.
She's not even spinning, yeah.
That's it.
Oh, okay, very good. I was hoping that you'd keep talking while I was doing this calculation.
While he's doing the calculations.
No.
Yes, I would say he experiences a number of challenges just in normal.
Poor feller.
Golly. You think just going to the beach?
Wonder if I could get his phone number.
Would that be interesting to you?
No.
I mean, for real, as a woman.
I wouldn't think so. That seems to me like that'd be a damn handful.
Yeah.
All right. I was hoping the AI could give me the answer quickly, but anyway.
Bless it.
Yeah, volume of a cylinder calculator. Okay, well, I'll just do that. So 13 inches high, right? 13.5, did you say?
13.5, yep.
Let's do math on a radio show.
And then the radius would then be, okay, if it was 8 around, so the diameter would be, let's say it's 2, so 1.5 inches. So that'd be 3 inches, right? Okay, we can do the diameter is, yeah, okay, yep. All right, let's see. This is stupid. I should just edit all this out, except I probably won't. Oh, goodness. 95 cubic inches. So how many milliliters is 95 cubic inches of fluid? I bet Echo can do that. Echo, how many milliliters is in 95 cubic inches?
95 cubic inches is about 1,557 milliliters.
Holy shit, it's a liter.
Yeah, 1 whole liter of fluid.
That can't be right.
It's blood.
That can't be right.
That'd be a whole liter full of blood.
Yeah, that's like 1/7 of your blood supply. That can't be right. I'm going to do that calculation. I'll post it on Twitter later.
Oh my God! So
I shouldn't try to do math on the fly.
If he were attempting to have a full erection, he may get a little lightheaded.
Yeah, I would think so.
Not have enough blood.
Yeah,
to
don't
his
stand
brain.
up anyway.
Seriously, yeah.
Okay.
Jeez Louise.
All right. Well, thanks, Tace.
You're welcome.
Scott, you got anything?
No, sir.
Okay.
Number one thing, don't take advice from some asshole on the radio.
All right. Let's just answer some things that we can answer.
Do it.
All right. Okay, technical difficulties. There we go.
Sir Dr. Steve Esquire.
Hello.
I had a question.
Esquire. That's an attorney.
That's what I was, a lawyer.
I've seen on Man versus Wild, I believe,
Okay.
where he put a hose in his booty hole to absorb water that way because the water was not potable or safe enough to drink, and he had no way of cleaning it.
Right.
But he said your anus, your colon could absorb the water without the bacteria making you sick and throwing up. Is that true?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Think about it. If you've got shit in your colon, you're just drawing water out of there, and you're not drawing shit into your bloodstream unless you've got a real problem. You're just drawing, water out of the colon. That's its job, is to reclaim water. So in a dire emergency, when, and particularly if it's short term, because when you take water, it's like from a contaminated pond, and you give yourself an enema because you can't drink it and you can't make a fire, you can't boil water, you can't filter it, you can't make it safe.
No way, yeah.
You're also introducing all the things that live in there. And there are some of those things that live in a pond that could also live inside you. Some parasites, giardia, stuff like that. So you're increasing your risk of dysentery and other things like that by introducing toxic bacteria. But in the short term, it's correct. That is a way to purify water. I would just only use that as a very last resort.
Yeah.
And I've even heard of people doing it with seawater, and I don't know how long you can do that. But, in an emergency.
Yeah.
There were some people that were trapped on a raft, I think, that after their boat went down, and they were in the middle of the ocean while they were waiting for rescue. They were dying of thirst, and so they did seawater enemas and at least survived long enough to get some help. So
yeah, but God, can you imagine all the like you said, little parasites and bugs and worms and things of that in pond water, stagnant pond water? Jeez, always.
Yeah, so if you're going to be out in the wild, make preparations for that. Yes. There are things that you can take with you.
Water filters number one.
Yeah. And
Lighter
and a way
two.
to make fire.
Lighter number two.
Yeah. Now, in the ocean, they have this thing. It's tent still. Have you heard about this?
Mm-mm.
So if it's part of a survival kit. So if you're on a raft out in the middle of the ocean, they have these things called tent stills. And what it is it's got a conical, clear, clear like covering, and then there's a little floating, like a little tiny kiddie pool, and you fill up the kiddie pool with seawater, right. And then it will evaporate up and then condense on the clear, conical thing at the top, right. And then it will collect, and you can collect fresh water.
Right on. Oh, that's cool. Hey, and speaking, it's kind of interesting you said that, and I was thinking about you guys at the beach the other day. Have you seen the newest way that the lifeguards in North Carolina are rescuing people getting sucked under like an undertow?
No.
They're using drones and flying with these drones, flying
like an inner tube to them?
An inner tube with a rope and flying it and dropping it by the people so they can draw them in from the.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
That is cool.
Man, I thought.
I saw a guy fishing that
yeah.
way. I thought it was brilliant.
That is brilliant. Oh, my gosh.
He was deep sea fishing from the shore.
Oh, hell, that even
And he took a drone and he had a little servo on it.
Instead of having to cast it, he just flew.
And he could go way farther out,
cool.
so he wasn't bothering people that were swimming and stuff. Because those guys always piss me off.
Yeah.
If you're at a beach where people are swimming, don't throw your hook in.
No, please don't. That's a dumbass thing to do.
We had to, and you think, well, I'm being an asshole if you're one of those fishermen, but those Carolina rigs particularly, they've got 2 giant hooks on them, and we had a woman that started screaming out in the water, and we brought her in, and she had a big old hook going through the bottom of her foot.
Rats.
That she had just stepped on, that somebody had just left there. You know, it got stuck on something or a fish bit it off or whatever. And you can't get that out easily. What you have to do is clip the barb off if it's gone all the way through. And then you can back it out. But if it hasn't gone all the way through, then you got to push it till it is all the way through, because you can't just back it out with that barb on there. Those barbs are huge.
Oh, God, no.
So that has to be done under, local anesthesia, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Then you're increasing the risk of infection and all that stuff.
Risk.
So, yeah.
Yeah, one of the guys.
So please don't do that.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live got an infection covering the Olympics, the surfing contest. Colin Jost, I think.
Oh, really?
Stepped on something and got it.
Oh, is that right? I didn't hear about that.
They had to fly him home, yeah.
Is that right? Yep. Tacie, can you look that one up while we're talking?
I mean, my God, you make me do some work.
That's why she gets the big bucks.
I've already done my job.
Okay, well, you can just leave that.
I think it was Colin Jost.
I like old Colin Jost.
Yeah, I do too.
He's married to Scarlett Johansson.
He seems like a pretty solid guy.
So, yeah. So please don't do that. I mean, listen, there's lots of places you can fish where there aren't people swimming around you. Mm-hmm. But this guy, there was literally no one swimming around him, but he was taking it so far out that no swimmer could get caught on the hook that he was putting out there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was going out.
What a great idea.
1,000 feet, something like that. It was crazy. So, now, if you do let's do a little PSA. Where we were, had this giant, they had reclaimed a bunch of sand, and then the sea, of course, reclaimed it again. Mm-hmm. And so they took a bunch of sand from out, dredged it in, and then made the beach wider. And over 2 years, it just went back to where it was. But now there's a giant sandbar out there.
Oh, okay.
And so when if there's a break in the sandbar and the tide is going out, the level is dropping, but it can't drop all homogeneously because there's a sandbar there.
Sure.
So it all goes through that channel, and it causes an insane riptide. Now, if you get caught in one of those, don't try to fight it.
Right.
Go with it, but swim at right angles.
Yep.
You can always swim at right angles to the riptide, and you will eventually get out of it because they're usually not that wide. Mm-hmm. Now, there is one place over there where there is a giant sort of not a reservoir, but a wetland with all these what they call creeks, which are just salt water, channels through living material. And there's 2 islands, and the only place that the tide could go out was between those 2 islands. And no one was ever allowed to swim in that channel. It's beautiful, and there's all these $jillion homes and stuff. You can't swim in there because of riptides. It's so wide, and there's so much water going through there that you will surely die.
Wow.
Today's episode is brought to you by Angie. Angie has made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your jobs and projects done well. Let me tell you, there's the version of it where you try to do something at home, and then there's a version of it where you have someone help you, you watch them do it the right way, and you go, thank God I didn't try to do that myself. I have fully done things around the home that I think look good, and then a bang in the night, and I wake up to a shelf collapsing, a painting falling off the wall. I've seen it all go south. I own a home, and I can tell you, I know how much work it can take. Whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality, it can be hard just to know where to start. But now all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise you need. Whatever your home project, big or small, indoor or outdoor, you can Angie that and connect with skilled professionals to get the project done well. Right now, one of my wish lists is I want a bike for my condo in Milwaukee, and I would love to rig it up on a pulley in the ceiling because I have one of those lofted ceilings, but I'm so scared to try that on my own. Angie has 20 years of home experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app. Answer a few questions and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish. or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly, which means you can take care of any home project in just a few taps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
With Walmart's new fresh and frozen subscriptions, you can save time on your weekly grocery shopping.
Dad, you're supposed to be grocery shopping.
And miss the chance to embarrass you in front of your friends? I subscribe to snacks and wet napkins. You know how messy you are.
Dad!
Walmart. Subscribe to your weekly list.
Earning your degree online doesn't mean you have to go about it alone. At Capella University, we're here to support you when you're ready. From enrollment counselors who get to know you and your goals, to academic coaches who can help you form a plan to stay on track. We care about your success and are dedicated to helping you pursue your goals. Going back to school is a big step, but having support at every step of your academic journey can make a big difference. Imagine your future differently at capella.edu.
Why aren't you wearing setting spray? Avoid makeup meltdowns with Urban Decay's award-winning all-nighter setting spray. A quick spritz locks your look in for up to 16 hours. Rain or shine, workout or night out. It's waterproof and guarantees your makeup stays put, no matter how crazy your day gets. With over 50,000 five-star reviews, Urban Decay's all-nighter setting spray is the best of the best. Get your Try Me size at Sephora.
This episode is brought to you by AutoTrader. Look around. What do you see? Cars. Lots of them. And guess what? They're probably on AutoTrader. Whether you're into timeless classics or the latest trends, if you see it on the road, you can likely find it on AutoTrader. New, used, electric, and one day, maybe even flying cars. See a car? Find it on AutoTrader. Visit autotrader.com to learn more.
I did my job.
Yep, thank you.
Colin Jost has left his 2024 Olympics post behind after his gig in Tahiti resulted in multiple health concerns.
Oh, no.
The SNL comedian reportedly resigned from his surfing correspondent duties before the events on the French Polynesian island came to an end Wednesday. Australian weatherman Luke Brandon filled in for him. According to NBC, Jost had stayed longer than originally planned, and the surfing competition was delayed due to weather. Jost had a great time, and everyone was thrilled with his coverage from Tahiti.
So he did get to do some coverage.
Apparently. The Weekend Update anchor touched down in Tahiti prior to the game's opening ceremony on July 26th, but his time at the popular vacation spot quickly became anything but paradise. Within his first days reporting for Olympics duty, Jost had injured his left foot on the island's coral reefs.
There you go. Don't step on the coral reef.
Oh, those hurt.
They are bad.
Yeah, they're sharper and shit.
You know it's going great when you've been to the Olympic medical tent more than any of the athletes. He captioned an Instagram photo.
Why was he walking on the coral reef, though?
I don't know. During his Olympic coverage, he also
I remember when we were in
foot,
Australia, they would just scream at you if you got anywhere close to the coral.
Yeah, had become infected and hasn't improved. He told Primetime in Paris host and sports commentator Mike Tirico last week he was also dealing with an ear infection. I'm now on 3 different medicines, 4 if you count pina coladas. My new goal by the time I leave here is to have as many infections as there are Olympic events.
Well, at least he could laugh about it, right, Taste?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Man, that's
terrible.
terrible.
Thanks for that. Poor feller. I like him.
Yeah.
All right. So there's using Colin to purify water.
Yep.
All right.
Extended.
Hey, Dr. Steve. It's Albert from Albuquerque.
Hey.
It's been a little while since I called in. Doubt you remember because you get so many, but I had a prostatectomy, radical prostatectomy, Da Vinci method 2 years ago.
Okay.
And doing well in recovery post that. What I wanted to talk about was...
Well, he says Da Vinci, they did it with a robot. That's what that is.
Orgasm after prostatectomy.
Okay. Now, a lot of people have problems with this. When they do a prostatectomy, you can hit sometimes the pudendal nerve and mess with blood flow to the penis and stuff like that. So some people have problems. Let's see if he did.
I did some sexual rehabilitation using Cialis and exercising my member on a regular basis as early after as I could after the surgery. Which resulted in a ejaculate of blood at one point in time. But anyways, now and then post that procedure and post that therapy, I was able to regain a full erection.
Good.
I still need Cialis, but penetration is definitely there, and everything works pretty damn good. The interesting thing is that my orgasms seem more intense than they ever were before. I mean, I really feel like it's a wonderful thing.
Wow.
But
he just called to brag.
the other cool thing is now if I masturbate, nothing comes out.
Yep.
I can play all day, and I'll just clean up. And not that I do, but, there are those times. Anyways, just wanted to ask your opinion on that.
Yeah, sure. Well, he has retrograde ejaculation. When they went in there with the robot and took out his prostate, either because he had prostate cancer or he had enlarged prostate that was affecting his ability to urinate, it inevitably mess with the hydrodynamics of that system. And so when you ejaculate, semen is going to go out the path of least resistance. Normally, there's a sphincter there that closes off the bladder so that the path of least resistance is out to the outside world, because that's what semen is for, and we forget about that. There's a purpose to these things, and one of the purposes was, the purpose is to, fertilize an egg to further the species. So you want it to go outside the body. But when you mess with the hydrodynamics inside the prostate, the path of least resistance now becomes into the bladder. And so that's what happens. So he's ejaculating, but he's ejaculating into his bladder. And he doesn't seem to seem to complain about it. Matter of fact, to him, it's a feature, not a bug. Right?
Right.
Now, I've had other people say that they don't like it because they don't feel that great emptying, because, there is that sort of neural pathway from the seminal vesicles out to the end of the, the urethral meatus, or AKA the cockhole. But he doesn't seem to think it's a problem. He's having more intense orgasms, so I think it sounds like he would gladly trade what he had before for
one
this.
for the other, right?
And he's got a healthy prostate now. So,
yeah, thank goodness.
Or no prostate.
Yeah.
All right, good deal.
Good deal.
Thank you for.
Hi, Dr. Steve. My name is Katie. I've been suffering from migraines for 5 years. I've been through lots of treatments to see about different medications. I've had Botox. I've had lidocaine injections. I've had MRIs. I've had CTs. I've had X-rays. I've had the works. I've had infusions. I was just wondering if you can point me in any other direction. I do have a little bit of scoliosis and some of my, what is it?
What?
All right, thanks. Bye.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, what did she say? What was the last thing she said?
Scoliosis, and then I think she was thinking of something and then decided just to bail. So,
Gotcha, good.
Yeah, there are some new medications So she doesn't have refractory migraine. She has resistant migraine. So there's two kinds of poorly treated migraines. Refractory migraine, where they just have the headache all the time. And then there are those that have it intermittently, but medication has failed them. Those are called resistant. And, there's a whole bunch of new medications. Back in the day, we used butalbital, which is sort of a phenobarb-like drug. And the problem with it is people would start taking it more frequently because they had rebound headaches.
Gotcha.
You would take the medicine, the headache would go away, but then when the medicine's washed out of your system, you'd get a worse headache.
Oh, gosh.
You'd end up having to take this stuff every day, and now you think, I just have migraines all the time, or refractory migraines, when in fact it's actually the medication causing it. Then they came out with the Imitrex-type drugs, the sumatriptan and the others, which basically would recontract the blood vessels in the brain so that they weren't dilating, which is where the pain comes from.
Right, the stretch fibers.
Yeah, the stretch fibers in the arteries of the around the brain. The brain itself doesn't have pain fibers.
Right.
Once you get past the skull and the membranes and stuff. You can dig around in people's brain all day long, and they won't feel it.
Right.
But which is weird. You would think that the center of all pain and sensation would have pain and sensation, but it can't feel itself.
No.
Isn't that interesting? Yep. But there are some new medications. There's Ubrelvy and Nurtec ODT. That one is called Remegapant. It's can treat acute migraines and prevent future ones. The Ubrogapant is oral, but it doesn't narrow the blood vessels. But I'm not sure that they know how the mechanism works. It's some sort of CGRP receptor that they block. And then there is a monoclonal antibody called Irunimab, and it's sold under the name of Imovig. And it blocks calcitonin gene-related peptide receptor, same thing that those other drugs do, that CGRP. And but that's given by injection. And monoclonal antibodies, they carry their own special problems. And you want to use those as a last resort, and they're expensive too. But that's where prior approval comes in. If you have a medication and your insurance doesn't want to pay for it, you can appeal for a prior authorization, and you have to have the doctor's office do it, and they have to actually do it. I have a whole department that does this because, for chemotherapy and stuff, you can't just go, sorry, your insurance doesn't cover it. So we have a department of people that call to get drugs approved. And they can do that for this kind of thing. If they say, look, she's tried A, she's tried B, she tried C, nothing's working. Okay. Yeah. What about the sphenic plexus?
Well, I've got a couple things about this.
Yeah.
Number one, if you want to stick with traditional or Western medicine, the one thing I didn't hear you mention, and the thing I thought of is even low dose naltrexone could possibly, if she's not, because that's not something they use a lot, but it's something
we use that more for fibromyalgia. But yeah, maybe
but
it might prevent them. Yeah, so let's talk about it just for a second. So naltrexone is an opioid blocker, and used in low dose, it is very effective. As long as there's no opioids around, in reducing overall pain. So I've used it in people with chronic low back pain too, so it may work for migraines. I just don't know if it's been studied. The theory is that when you give it at low dose, for whatever reason, it's blocking the endorphins, the naturally produced opioids in the brain and the central nervous system. And then when it washes out very quickly, those things, you get spikes in those levels. Right. And so it's that you're giving yourself natural pain relief. So very interesting.
I don't have anything.
Oh, okay.
Well, and the reason
you looked like you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, I just want to mention that before I go into the to kind of more what I do for migraine headaches. And what?
Well, with the sphenoid plexus, though.
Oh, okay. For ganglion. So sometimes what they'll do is a
sphenoid ganglion block.
Yeah, splenic ganglion injection. They'll do a stellate.
Jesus,
I'm sorry.
I kept saying sphenoid.
I'm sorry, Steve. I knew it was something like stellate ganglion block.
Thank
I apologize.
you.
Yeah. They can do a stellate ganglion block, which you need an interventional pain medicine doctor usually will do it. But they'll go in and they'll inject this little stellate ganglion that's just above your first rib and right beside your carotid artery, and sometimes that'll help calm down those pain headaches. So that's another option if you're kind of pursuing this Western medicine thing. Yeah, because it sounds like she's exhausted most of the Western stuff. Yeah, and so let's talk real quick.
It says here the stellate ganglion block can be an effective treatment for migraines and may help reduce the need for other medications. So what?
So there's two things she may not have she may not have looked into, especially if she's exhausted.
So now talk about what you would do.
Yeah, so one of the major things that I treat effectively are headaches and migraine headaches specifically with acupuncture and stimulation. Number one, I put little acupuncture needles in the neck and the head, and I put a little electrical stimulation to it because it calms down the muscles and stimulates serotonin, calms down just this overall kind of tension through your body. Yeah. And with her and her history of having some scoliosis, what we see is changes in the spine, pulling tension on the muscles and the tendons and ligaments, right, causing headaches. And so now these muscle tension headaches kind of manifest as migraine headaches.
Yeah.
And those typically will respond pretty well to the acupuncture and the stimulation.
Okay.
More often so than some of the other medications that work on, for other types of these migraine headaches. So, yeah.
One of the other things I think that she didn't mention, if she wears glasses, she needs to get her refraction done by a really, really good optometrist.
Yeah. Maybe a neuro-optometrist, somebody that really knows their funky stuff.
Yeah, because if you've got, if your prescription is off even a little bit, or if you need prism in there because your eyes don't line up, then that could cause just chronic headaches.
Yeah, and headaches are Headaches are really, really challenging to treat, to be honest with you. But I would, but let's just say if she does have scoliosis, I would do two things. I'll try the acupuncture with electrical stimulation, number one, and it has to have the electrical stim.
Right.
And number two, I would look at yoga classes to work on the tension in the spine to help kind of take the tension off the head, and that might help some of the medications that may have helped a little bit initially.
Yeah.
Because all we're trying to do is just find out the best way to manage that headache.
Right.
Using the most appropriate drugs and medications. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what I would do.
Cool.
So good luck.
Thank you. All right.
Hi, Dr. Steve, Dr. Scott, and Tacie.
Hello.
I know it's a male show, but I like listening to your show. It's very fun.
Cool, thank you.
And informative. Also, good for my husband. I'll tell him stuff. But my question is related to HRT.
Yep.
And is that something that men can take too?
Yep.
For erectile dysfunction, or what is HRT for men and for women?
Yeah, sure. So HRT stands for hormone replacement therapy, and it's for people who have some hormone that's low. And in this case, I think she's referring to testosterone. So lots of men have low testosterone, and they're not even aware of it. And they think that getting old is feeling tired and having a crummy libido and erectile dysfunction and stuff like that. Physical weakness. Oh, I'm just getting old. And you test them, and a significant fraction of those people will have low testosterone. Matter of fact, it's estimated that of all the men who have clinically treatable low testosterone, only about 5% of them actually get treatment. So I'm hoping that number is greater now than it was when they first quoted that. But anyway, so then the hormone replacement therapy is designed to take that low testosterone and just raise it back to normal. This is different than juicing, which is taking someone with a normal testosterone and boosting their testosterone as a performance enhancer. And that carries with it some significant risks, whereas giving testosterone to somebody with low testosterone, just bringing their level back to normal, carries with it very little risk, other than just having testosterone in your body. Now, if you had prostate cancer, you wouldn't want to give somebody testosterone because it is testosterone sensitive. Same way, if you had uterine or breast cancer, you wouldn't want to give somebody estrogen because those are a lot of breast cancers are estrogen sensitive, and uterine cancer and other female germ cell tumors and stuff like that are as well. All right, so that's what that is. Now, for women, if you have menopause, we don't generally treat that with steroids anymore because they found that was our thing. So as soon as someone went through menopause, we'd just put them on estrogen. And they'd be on it for life.
Gotcha.
And if they still had a uterus, you had to cycle it and do all these things. But some people were just on it forever. Okay. And then we realized through some really large cohort studies that if we were increasing the risk of breast cancer in those women. Gotcha. So instead of 1 in 11 getting it, it was like 1 in 10. But still, that 1% change or whatever the change was didn't affect the individual woman that much because their risk is still small. But as far as society is concerned, it caused
a big number.
Millions of excess cases of breast cancer over 10 years, say. So that we stopped doing that. Now we have to treat hot flashes and with other medications. You can still use vaginal estrogen if someone has vaginal wall atrophy or severe vaginal dryness or pain with intercourse. You can still do that. That does not seem to increase the risk of breast cancer.
Good.
But anyway, all right. Very good. Thank you. Let's see here. I don't know what this is. Oh, no, let's do this one.
Hey, Dr. Steve, it's Mike from New York.
Hey, Mike.
How you guys doing? Hopefully everyone's well.
Yeah, thanks,
Quick
man.
question.
You too.
I've been on Remicade about 9 years, and it recently stopped working.
Okay.
So they're trying me on this new medicine.
Okay, so Remicade is one of those biologics that treats multiple things, including things like ulcerative colitis and other inflammatory illnesses. So.
It's approved for ulcerative colitis just about a month.
Okay.
I know there's other medications out there. How does a doctor, and I trust my doctor, I don't think he's doing payola,
Yeah.
but how does a doctor make a good determination on what he thinks will be the next medicine to try you on when the medicine you are on fails?
Right. No, it's a great question. There are always these new fancy drugs out there that you can use, but we try not to use those first line if we can avoid it. And listen, I know everybody talks about kickbacks. There aren't any. I mean, I've never gotten – I wish I could get a kickback sometimes for some of the drugs that I write. But, yeah, there just isn't anything like that. There used to be some sort of under-the-table compensation in the form of trips and things like that, but all of that's gone away. Now, the researchers may be getting, little extra taste in their grant money or something. I don't know. And that could certainly induce bias when it comes to bringing something to the FDA to try to get it approved. But other than that, as far as prescribing drugs, the only thing we get paid for is the office visit or a procedure if we do a procedure. So that's not an issue. So taking that off the table, and there really are no further incentives, as drug reps, they can't offer us anything but promotional material.
Not even a pen.
Can't even give pens anymore. That's right. And that's a big change from the past. So taking that off the table, how do you pick a new drug? Well, sometimes you've tried everything else. And you say, hey, there's this new stuff on the market. Let's try it and see if it does any better. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Unfortunately, for most drugs, we don't have a blood test that will say this, Remicade will work, but it'll only work for 10 years, and then you're going to have to switch it to something else, et cetera, et cetera. So now there are some genetic testing for certain drugs. I'm not convinced that it's rigorous, but it's coming. Maybe it's coming that we will have a blood test that will say this person will respond better to hydromorphone than they will oxycodone for their pain. So we would, start with that and give you a different starting medication.
There are, it is kind of the drug rep's job to place the position of a drug for the physician. Once a patient has failed this, and this, then this would be a good option.
Right.
And to give reasons why.
Right. When you say place it, you mean in the provider's mind?
In the algorithm, yeah.
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 Right.
Just.
Where does this fit in?
Where does it fit in? Because, they're not out there to get. Well, they do want as many scripts as they can get, but it's unrealistic to think that your brand new drug is going to be used on everybody first line.
Right.
So it's important for you to place it for the physician in a spot where it really does make sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to tell them, and also what hoops they have to jump through.
Yeah. And then they need to understand it. Whether a prior auth is going to be needed, because there's no reason to write a prescription for a drug if it's not going to get approved on
their formulary.
Insurance.
Yeah.
So, you do have to go through hoops.
You know what used to drive me crazy when I saw a lot of reps was you can get this on Blue Cross preferred, formulary, but not on, say, Cigna.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to remember that?
And that is something that they still do, and that's the company's fault. They're all like, oh, go out there and promote that we're now on this, and it's just that's ridiculous to think that anybody's going to remember that.
Right. We never could. But I write them, and then our prior authorization department comes back to me and says they won't allow this drug, but they can have this other drug. And, it's this dance. And that is one argument for single-payer healthcare, is that we wouldn't have to worry about that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
On the other hand, single-payer healthcare, they could just say, well, we're not going to cover anything, and you're screwed.
Right.
So having competition out there is good for the patient, but it is a pain in the ass dealing with, a Blue Million. And it isn't just Blue Cross. You have Blue Cross Select, Blue Cross PPO, Blue Cross, yellow badge of Texas. And,
yes, and carve-outs. Like if you work for a specific company, you can have Blue Cross Blue Shield, or, like our insurance, we have insurance, but it's carved out. So the formulary is different than the basic formulary that they provide.
Right.
So it really, when you talk formulary, it's kind of stupid.
You just have to, the only thing you can do, and this really is the optimal way, is you take the prescription to the pharmacy, and then they have to deny it. Then the provider's office has to be called, and then they can start to do the prior authorization. Now, this is a really important part of your provider's job. And if they don't do it in a timely fashion, even if you love that provider, you either got to have a talk with them or you got to find somebody else, because it really needs to be done quickly. If you gave somebody a prescription, it's because you want them to take it, and then to not do the prior authorization process when the pharmacy calls.
That's just lazy, and they don't like to do it.
Yep.
And, it's tough shit. Not everything's fun.
Right. It's part of your job.
Yeah, you got to work for it.
And it's like people bring when I'm in the hospital, the last thing I ask everybody after I do a consult, if there's family members and there's anybody in here need a family medical leave form. Now, I'm not virtue signaling. I'm just saying that's part of my workflow. And so many of these people say, yeah, I dropped one off at my primary care's office 2 weeks ago and they still haven't done it. And I'll go do it. It literally takes 30 seconds to do.
Yeah.
If you pre-fill your information, all you got to do is put the information about the patient on there, and then you're protecting their job. They can't be fired if you work for a company of more than 50 people for more than a year, full time. Then you qualify for family medical leave, and you can get up to 6 weeks off for yourself or for a close family member to help care for them. And they cannot fire. Now, they can fill your job, and they can maybe make you take another equivalent job somewhere else. They're not required to keep that job open, but they cannot fire you because you weren't there because of the illness of somebody.
Okay.
So that was a good law. I think that was a Clinton law, actually. I know HIPAA, I think, was a Clinton law, too. So old Bill was,
don't ask, don't tell what that was.
Yeah, that was him, too. Well, okay. But anyway, all right.
Hey, Dr. Steve, it's Mike in New York.
Hey,
I
Mike.
hope you guys are all doing well. Weird question. Often I wake up and my pillow is soaked, but the only part of me that's sweating is my head.
Okay, yeah. So he has craniofacial hyperhidrosis, but also accompanied by night sweats. Now, night sweats can be a sign of a lot of things, but the first thing we look at is drugs. So drugs that can cause night sweats are legion, and they are things like acetaminophen, aspirin, antidepressants particularly, steroids, any hormone therapy, asthma inhalers, medications for diabetes, etc. So you want to take a look at your medications first, and then if it's not that, then your primary care can do some investigation. Now, if it turns out to be just primary craniofacial hyperhidrosis, there's creams you can put on and stuff like that to stop your head from sweating. All right? Okay, well, before we get out of here, Dr. Scott, let's check out the scene at the Fluid Family, which is, you can join the Fluid Family in our waiting room.
That'd be cool.
At youtube.com/@weirdmedicine when we're live. And just turn on notifications and follow our Twitter. I didn't do a Twitter announcement today, and it looks like we have about the same number of people. It's a very small, insular crowd. We don't push it. It's not a show. It's not a show. as Tukey likes to say. It is just a video recording of us recording our audio show.
Gotcha.
So it's, we don't promote it as a live stream, but we enjoy having people listen to us live. It makes a big difference. Randy Eblin, welcome to the Fluid family. Myrtle Manus, thank you for gifting 20 Weird Medicine with Dr. Steve memberships.
Woo-hoo.
And and then Myrtle Manus gifted another 20.
Why did Myrtle Manus gift 2 20s?
I don't think she did that on purpose.
'Cause she's awesome.
But so what you want to do is when you go to the channel, like and subscribe, obviously, but click join, and you don't have to join. It's only 99 cents. I don't do that much. I'll put some videos up there first before they go live to the public. But just click the button that says accept gifted memberships. And then that way, when Myrtle or somebody else gifts memberships, you can get one for free. Okay, let's see here. I see Myrtle. There's Myrtle. Who else we got here? Oh, we've got Chris R.
Yep, Chris.
Thank you for the $5 super chat, my friend. It says fluid. I wonder where you got that from. All right, that's what we've got right now. What you got? Any questions from the Fluid family, Dr.
I
Scott?
do have one question from old Larry.
Okay.
Let me get back up here to it. All right, here you go, Larry. From the Fluid family, 43-year-old male.
Okay.
No recent changes in medications or diet.
I love how it gives the background. That really helps a lot.
It actually does.
It helps a lot.
Makes life a little easier. But I'm sweating at night. I have my room air conditioner set to 63 degrees with fans.
That sounds
I know
lovely.
that's what I'm hoping we're going to make it in here in just a minute. 63 degrees with fans and only sleeping with a sheet.
Yeah.
I'm cold, but still sweating.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So
similar to what we talked about. I mean,
it
a
is.
little more in depth.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit more in depth. We were talking more about the craniofacial hyperhidrosis, but he's talking about night sweats.
Mm-hmm.
So women will often have this because of menopause or perimenopause, even pregnancy. Premenstrual syndrome can cause it. Other hormonal changes. Mm-hmm. Anxiety and stress can do this. Mm-hmm. Infections, flu, stuff like that. But I'm assuming that this is not what this is because it's chronic. Mm-hmm. But again, medications, antidepressants, steroids, certain painkillers, chemotherapy drugs and stuff like that, obviously. But it could be a symptom of other medical conditions. It could be low blood sugar. If you're diabetic and you're having low blood sugar in the middle of the night, you are going to sweat. And it's very often, 3, 4 in the morning, and then you wake up, soaked. So a thyroid disease can cause it as well. Mm-hmm. And, also just, hot weather and overheated bedroom, but he doesn't have that. Mm-hmm. Spicy foods. Hot drinks before bed, exercising before bed, those are all no-nos when it comes to night sweats. You got something, Tace?
Nope.
Okay.
He did.
You're actually listening. That's so it's weird. You look at me like, and she must be wanting to say something because she's not just looking at her phone.
You did look at her eyes close. There's a gloss over them.
Okay.
That wasn't actually listening.
Okay.
He did
really wasn't.
He said just a second later. He is taking Flomax. They gave him Flomax for kidney stones.
Okay.
So I don't know if Flomax, but he said that because he's got retrograde ejaculation, which is because of that. It is weird. I don't know about Flomax, but Flomax could, I guess, cause it since that's a beta blocker, isn't it?
No, isn't it Flomax? Who is an alpha blocker?
It's an alpha blocker,
isn't it? Let me see.
Maybe it's alpha blocker. I'd say you're probably right.
There you go. If it started since he was put on this stuff, it does have a known adverse effect of night sweats. So.
Especially if it's on higher doses, I would say. But let's make sure those kidney stones get resolved before you start doing anything.
Yeah,
and certainly get all of those hormone panels done. And
well, there are other things that they can give you for
your family medicine doctor.
Stone.
Yeah, sure. But your family medicine doctor, make sure they know that you're having night sweats and they can run a bunch of just normal labs.
Yeah, prescription drugs used to treat benign prostatic hyperplasia in men. Tamsulosin is Flomax.
Right.
And dizziness, lightheadedness, getting up too quickly, so it causes orthostatic hypotension. So Let's do mechanism. I want to make sure that I said that right. So, mechanism of action of Tamsulosin. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'll give myself a bell. Oops.
Give thyself a bell.
Selective alpha adrenergic receptor antagonist.
I'll do it.
Yep. All right. Target smooth muscle receptors of the prostate and urethra. That then opens them up. And so if you've got problems urinating, because you got a big old prostate, by loosening up things in there, you can optimize your flow path. Mm-hmm. But also, if you've got a kidney stone, it makes it a little easier to get it out of there.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool, man.
Very good. So that could be it. If it started around the same time, then that kind of makes
that would make the most sense.
The most sense. And if you stop it, and it goes away, and then you start it back again, and it comes back, then that kind of follows Koch's principles. That you can say that is the causative agent.
No.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Thanks always go to Dr. Scott, Tacie, everyone who's made this show happen over the years. Listen to our SiriusXM show on the Faction Talk channel, SiriusXM channel 103, Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern on demand, and other times at Jim McClure's pleasure. Many thanks to our listeners whose voicemail and topic ideas make this job very easy. Go to our website, drsteve.com, for schedules, podcasts, and other crap. Until next time, check your stupid nuts for lumps. Quit smoking, get off your asses, get some exercise. We'll see you in 1 week for the next edition of Weird Medicine. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.